members of the Trinidad gang. The vessel appeared to have altered course and even turned back before the attack began, possibly after its crew noticed a U.S. military aircraft monitoring them. Washington maintains the boat was transporting narcotics bound for the United States. Critics argue the operation represented a major departure from traditional anti-drug interdiction methods. It's why international relations expert Dr. Anthony Gonzalez is calling on Prime Minister Kamla Bissau-Bissessar to make public critical details surrounding the recent airstrike if the incident in fact occurred.
There's a lot of speculation taking place, and no one is sure exactly what happened. So I think, we are left wondering, if it took place here, if it took place outside. I think that is basically the problem. One has to properly establish that it took place in our waters.
And despite the presence of American warships, Cedros fishermen say pirates are still prowling the Gulf of Paria and the Columbus Channel, while most fishermen in South Trinidad are keeping closer to shore because of mounting tensions between Venezuela and the United States. They say danger still lurks even in the shallow waters where fishermen now cast their nets.
I blame Trump for that, because all the people oil as well. Biggest dictator in the world is he. Go in our country, take the resources, divide the people for a puppet rule, and as the same thing going on, he will be Venezuela, who cause and who suffering. She just fishermen are suffer.
Well, those were 6 a.m. news headlines. We'll have another news update at the top of the hour right here on CNC3 and the TBC Radio Network.
Morning Brew is brought to you by Omega XL. Live long, stay strong.
Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago, running into your brand new day. It's great to be back with you on this beautiful Thursday. Still very much early, not too sure how the weather will pan out. We saw lots of rain yesterday, and from what I heard via John Mark's report last evening, midday, somewhere into the afternoon, there might be another downpour. I just hope it will not be as severe with some of the flooding we would have seen yesterday in Port of Spain and environs. Great to be back with you. Let me extend a sincere thanks to Keyshan Haynes, always professional, my colleague, for holding down the seat in my absence while I was there in Jamaica. A little way up north, went up to give the coverage for the very crucial World Cup qualifier. Of course, I'll get to that later on when we get to the sport page, but indeed, a great trip, always great to touch base with friends, and, well, I could call some of my friends there almost like family now there in Jamaica, and indeed, still very much alive in the tournament. Keep the faith, TNT. I'll explain to you how we can still go forward when we touch on that via our sport page. Let's see what's happening via The Guardian this morning for today, Thursday, September 11th, 2025. And of course, today being 9/11, via our American, I would say, news agencies and all the major stations, they always put aside major time to remember what transpired back in 2001. For those who were alive, I'm sure you remember exactly where you were, your exact location. I was downtown, about to cash a check, heading to Shogunas. I kind of was in my apartment and I was getting, I think a chest of drawers or something I was going to get down Shogunas. And I remember from the entire drive from Port of Spain in the taxi to Shogunas, the radio, every single station plugged in to the broadcast that was coming out of the U.S. and you were hearing, and it was being described in real time. That was quite a moment. Of course, as we head to the front page this morning, we are looking at the development here. Underwater, as mentioned, yesterday with the rain, cars along South Quay. Yeah, look at that. Submerged, Yeah, with the afternoon showers, it caused some flash flooding yesterday. I saw even one of the schools there in Maraval. I mean, look at that. Is that outside? I think that's outside. Yeah, that's oh no, that's downtown there, close to Twin Tower, Treasury Building. I mean, people have to back it up. Look at the RAV. Folks having to crawl. And this is not anything new. I mean, those of us who traverse Port of Spain, we understand the peril. Of course, Citygate, at a point in time, was indeed impossible. And people having to, you know, I guess, negotiate and find ways to get through. And let me tell you, it used to be worse. Huh? For those who remember, they did some major work there by Citygate, so at least there is a ease compared to back in the day where you have to hop and skip. Water all in your shoes, your socks wet, you're going up the road in the maxi, you're frowsy. I remember those days, and again, well, obviously this is a particular area that is always problematic when it comes to heavy rain, so we're seeing in real time what's happening here with the conditions yesterday, and of course school being out. Let me again extend all the best to the class of 2025 stepping into 2026. All the schoolers, welcome back. I didn't get a chance to do that on Monday. So yeah, with school being out and the traffic being more intense, it was a very frustrating evening for many trying to get home yesterday. The other big story via the front page of The Guardian for today, Thursday, the 11th of September, we're looking at this development. 400 URP workers fired as the state suspends the Make Work program amid claims of P&M corruption. So again, those who are vulnerable. I could understand it. I get it where they want to make some of these jobs more sustainable. They want to have this program, the CPEP program, in a framework of transparency and best practice. But at the same time, these jobs provide employment for those who are deemed vulnerable. Some of our brothers and sisters on the lower strata, the lower sphere of the economic ladder, and you know, the job, the URP, the CPEP, it gives people a chance to at least make one end meet. Might be all the ends up, and we're looking at this development, and it's one of major concern. But again, we want to hear, obviously, if we get a chance to touch base with the Minister of Rural Development and Local Government, Minister Amin, we can get some more clarity on the development. Still will sit on the sideline and try to just hear all sides of the argument. But I know anyone being sent home, whether it's within the upper echelons of, let's say, the corporate or public sector, you could be on a managerial level or you could be on a groundsman level, like the URP project. It's never easy to be home not knowing where the next paycheck is coming from, with bills, with children to feed. It's for those who know, they know. For anyone looking on this morning, if you've ever been in that position, it's really one of sometimes you doubt, you try to get clarity, you're frustrated. There's lots that happens in that scenario, but I want to tell folks, keep the faith. You know, once you believe in a higher source, always know that your maker will never leave you to suffer. You won't be, yes, you'll go through hard moments, but you will not be abandoned. So keep the faith. And again, we stand by for more clarity concerning that development. So that's the URP level, on our groundsman level. On a more senior level, we're looking at the development with the CMO, Paris Ram. Well, they're saying he's under pressure to resign. That story is on page 6. That's right. Let's put it up there again, front page. We're looking at that development. Now, he was sent on extensive leave. And since then, well, I guess the talk was that he's going to come back. He's prepping to come back. And just days before he was due to resume duties following months of vacation, as mentioned, Guardian Media understands that the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Roshan Parasram, has been asked to tender his resignation. That development is on page 6 inside today's Guardian. And another story that grabbed my attention, and it's one I want to bring a comparison to what I saw in Jamaica via their news on Monday into Tuesday. That was a big talking point, and it's to deal with the students. So I'll stick up in there and I'll come back to the point, but we're looking at what transpired at the Arima North Secondary. It's on page 8. Student attacks teacher. I was telling my colleague Sheldon, now we have to blur the video because it's so disheartening. a female teacher and a female student both pulling each other's hair. In my day, and I didn't go to school eons ago, I didn't go to school in the 50s and 60s, it was in recent time. But I'm sure even in the 50s and 60s, the standard that was established then would have been transferred to my time, which would have been 90s into the late 90s. It was almost like unthinkable. It's not even an idea that would have crossed your mind to be fighting and squaring off with a teacher. You couldn't call a teacher by their first name. As a matter of fact, Sheldon, my colleague, reminded me that even if you and a student, all you was horseplaying or fighting in any kind of bacchanal, and a teacher was to walk into the classroom, you'll immediately hug up your friend. The fight came to an immediate end. Such was the respect and the reverence for teachers. And I could only imagine this teacher, and of course the student, I mean, both would be traumatized. But that teacher will have to probably get a transfer because the respect is gone. How could you go back to a school that you was fighting with a student? Now again, not saying that to cast any blame on the teacher or the, I wasn't there, but I'm just saying psychologically, it would be very hard for the teacher, because the teacher, obviously, any adult will defend themselves. I mean, you go through no disrespect from no little child, you know, but at the same time, you could hold a strain, but if you cross the line and you end up in a squabble with a student, I would imagine this is a moment for at least to put in your transfer request, or at least the ministry should look into sending the teacher somewhere else to at least give the teacher some clarity and just a refresh and a restart, because it will really be, I mean, think about it as human beings. Think about it wherever you're doing right now, sitting down on your move. You get into a fight in an organization with a youngster, with somebody who, again, a student. You wouldn't want to go back in that space. And again, the student also will have to, I guess they'll have to bring in some kind of, probably a counselor, or there'll have to be some disciplinary action. Because again, wasn't there, you weren't there, I don't know what caused it to reach to this level, for it to escalate on that particular level, but I know that all involved, it's going to be a tough ask to go back there. And I'm hearing now that there are calls for Rima North Secondary to also be on the list of schools under surveillance via the TTPS. Imagine that's where we reach. Which brings me to the point. I observed in Jamaica that on Monday, when they opened their doors to the students, many students were turned away because of breaches via the code of conduct when it comes to the uniform and their hairstyle. Now, it's something that I know we eased up over the years, but I wonder if it's time for a review. Because in Jamaica, imagine, unless you're probably of the Rastafarian faith, yes, there is special accommodation in that regard, because your mom, your dad, you're born into that faith, and of course, the hairstyle is part of your faith and your expression. So we understand, and that's given full respect, rightfully so. But outside of that development, outside of that reality, cornrow, plait, braids, all the girls with the edges, no, they're not allowing that in Jamaica. School boycott, and they want the girls in a onesie. And this is Jamaica, you know. And I'm saying, wow, look at that. They couldn't even enter the school. Who have on tight pants and the thing here, but there's a code of conduct. You have to fall in line. When you finish school, if you want to put the edges, put braid, put twists, like yourself. But while you're going to school, they have a serious order across there in Jamaica. And I'm saying, I wonder if we have to take a little page out of our brothers and sisters up north, out of their playbook. I'll stick up in there for now. Let's head to the back page. York targeting Bermuda in the next World Cup qualifier. It's a must win for us. We are on 1 point after 2 games. Curacao, they're on 4 points. They had a victory also on Tuesday. Well, they had a victory on Tuesday over Bermuda, so they move on to 4. Jamaica, they sit on comfortably on top of the group on 6 points after 2 games. I mean, I was there, and we really had a good game. It wasn't the sit down and just wait for something to happen. We saw flashes of brilliance, attacking play, good passing of the ball. As a matter of fact, we scored 3 goals, but all were ruled offside. And I guess on the day, you don't win based on stats and just playing well. It's goals that take you over the line, and unfortunately, we conceded. We left Kingston with a loss, but it's not a loss in terms of the spirit and the momentum. I was there in the camp. I felt the energy. There is still a good feeling. There is still optimism, not only with the technical staff and the coach, but the players. And I'll be there to give them that full strength and support. So again, we wish the Warriors the very, well, can't even say Warriors no more, the men's senior national team going forward the best. And we will get over the line. Probably it might be, it won't be as smooth as we anticipated, but we will get over the line, TNT. Have faith. Let's head to the brief on this Thursday morning. We're looking at President's Medal winners hailed for staying home to study. So congrats. A picture there with our brightest and best heading off to obviously further their studies. And once you're a President Medal winner, I mean, you bring pride to your parents, your godparents, your auntie, your uncle, your nana, and everybody. I mean, this is great news, and it's encouraging. And all we could ask is that the best and brightest, hopefully at some point, they come back and contribute and make a mark here at home. It's sometimes really heartbreaking to know our best and brightest, according to the circumstance, sometimes they stay outside. But we want our best and brightest to be here to contribute to building our sweet Twin Island state. Also a picture here of those making the early morning commute down there by King's Wharf in San Fernando, making the trek to Port of Spain via the water taxi. I took it once, and it was a really nice ride. Very professional, very smooth. I got that whole Gulf of Paria perspective. You see the whole coast. Really nice. I really enjoyed that particular moment. Let's head now to the Business Guardian. Up next, Anthony steps in to give us the breakdown, and we are dealing with the Forex this morning, and that is what we're going to treat with. Anthony Wilson joins me, consultant business editor. Great to be back with you, TNT. Let's get the ball rolling on this, your Morning Brew, Thursday, 11 September 2025.
Presenting the most modern pharmaceutical facility in the country, Food Basket Hyperfarm Pharmacy Food Basket Complex, Arima. We stock the widest range of health and beauty products, baby supplies, stationery, fragrances, and cosmetics. Our organic, sugar, and gluten-free products cater to vegans and the health conscious. A wide assortment of dispensary medication and over-the-counter items at the most affordable prices. Make Hyperfarm Pharmacy your choice. Located on the compound of Food Basket Complex, Arima.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488, 701-6680, 728-6786, or visit our website to order.
Millions of people are attacked by harmful mouth bacteria. The root cause of bad breath, gum problems, cavities, plaque, and tartar. That's why Colgate combined the best science and technology in Colgate Total. Unlike others, its superior formula fights bacteria and creates a powerful protective barrier for up to 24 hours to prevent them from coming back. Take control of your oral health with Colgate Total.
So let's start by explaining insurance concepts.
Insurance is one of the most misunderstood financial instruments.
If you don't have it and something happens, well, you're kind of out of pocket.
Insurance is a financial tool to mitigate against the risk that we face.
So what happens to somebody that if they lose their job in the middle of their policy?
If the pool of money dries up, the money has to come from somewhere.
Right.
Tune in on CNC3 this Friday at 8 p.m.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
Sportsmanship is when an athlete walks off the court and you can't tell if he won or lost because he carries himself with pride either way. This quote is an embodiment of sport, and for me, sport is an embodiment of life. We are where you are.
Filmmakers, producers, content creators, influencers, and recording artists. If you're looking to rent a versatile studio space with green screen, video wall, cyclorama, and more, look no further. GM Labs is here to make your dreams a reality. Located in the heart of Port of Spain on St. Vincent Street, GM Labs is your one-stop shop for all your creative needs with over 2,800 square feet to work with. Take your creative concept to the final product at GM Labs. Give us a call or WhatsApp or message us on our Instagram and Facebook pages at GM Labs TT.
This is Mary. Mary has bills to pay and takes a chance parking in front of the building at the no parking sign. Mary returns to her car, and this is what happens. Mary decides to call when she's 5 minutes away to let her daughter know that she is close by. But Mary forgot one thing.
Boy, second ticket for the day. I don't know, no? I really don't know. Well, I tell you.
After 2 tickets, Mary just isn't paying attention to her speed.
You see a fixed penalty noted, fixing speed like 15 kilometers. After 30 years to pay, 15 years to contest.
It has showed how other people, look how other people passing. All they ain't seen them. All they seen me, right? Eh? All they too wicked.
Don't be like Mary. Obey the laws of the road. A message from the TTPS.
Get the story first. Want to know what's happening in news, sports, or crime? Get the CNC3 app. As the story breaks, CNC3 is there giving you the story first on your mobile device. Be connected to the most trusted and reliable news source, CNC3. Access your world with just a tap. The CNC3 app. Download it today.
Consultant business editor Anthony Wilson, my colleague, joins me for the Business Guardian breakdown today, Thursday, the 11th of September. Anthony, good morning, my friend. Great to see you.
Good morning, Jason. Good morning to all of your viewers and listeners. Morning.
Good morning.
How was Jamaica?
Oh, fantastic as always. I mean, obviously not the result we went for, but nonetheless, hospitality and the treatment always par excellence in Jamaica.
Great, wonderful.
And one thing I realized with them, there's no issue for Forex there, unlike...
None. You could walk into a commercial bank in Jamaica.
Yeah.
And more likely than not, you can get as much US dollars as you want.
A matter of fact, somebody refused to take US. I wanted to get something small, a matter of fact, and I just had a little extra, like a $5 note US, and she said, no, we don't accept US. We'll take card or the Jamaican currency. I said, excuse me. Excuse me, but that won't happen in Trinidad, because when we look inside the Forex market, we are seeing credit card spend triples since 2015. That's Geisha's story. But your story, you're asking, again, a very important question. You're asking, when will our foreign reserves run out? So let's treat with that, and then we head across to the Geisha story.
Right. So I did a little depletion model, not by any means sophisticated. What I did was I calculated that Trinidad and Tobago's net official foreign reserves declined by $935 million US dollars between July 2024 and July 2025. $935 million US dollars. So if the foreign reserves as at the end of July 2025 were 4.08 billion, I calculated that in 3 years the reserves would be 2 billion. 935 by 3, 2.72 billion about, and therefore 2.8 billion actually, and therefore the reserves would be 2 billion in 3 years. At which point, it's important to note, at which point Trinidad and Tobago is not going to be able to service its foreign debt, and all of the merchants in this country are not going to be able to get foreign exchange to fund imports.
Even if, and I guess that's why I segue now to Geisha's story, even if you're using a credit card, it can become problematic? Because clearly what they're suggesting, it tripled since 2015.
Yes, I would imagine so, because at this point, when reserves of $4 billion thereabout, last month, a major commercial bank in this country, the largest in the country, reduced its US dollar spending limits in half. In other words, if your spending limit was 5,000, it's been reduced to 2,500. So I would imagine that over the space of the next year or two, the US dollar spending limit is going to be reduced across all commercial banks if the rate of depletion of foreign exchange continues in the way it's going.
You know what piqued my interest, Anthony, with this story? Geisha is suggesting here, well, I'm not say suggesting, she's based on the facts at hand. It's established now that forex sales and purchases both decline. From 2015 to 2024, total foreign currency sales by authorized dealers to the public declined by 20% from, let's say, 7.38 billion to 5.89 billion. This speaks of a, well, what I'm seeing through this story, because I try to always look at what's happening on the back end, clearly there's a vibrant black market. If there's a decline in terms of the authorized dealers, people clearly going somewhere else. And that means the black market is up and running.
Yeah, so the governor of our central bank, Mr. Larry Hawaii, made a distinction last Thursday between what is black market and what is he described as a gray market. And he suggested that the gray market, which is the exchange of US dollars for services, he mentioned a rental arrangement. He said that may not be illegal in the way that the central bank came out yesterday and said the central bank warned people about advertisements on social media offering foreign currency, and said basically the central bank cited the Exchange Control Act, which says citizens and residents of this country should only access foreign exchange from the authorized dealers. And of course, given the fact that the credit card limits have been reduced, given the fact that most people cannot go into commercial banks and access foreign exchange from their own accounts, and given the fact that if you go into a commercial bank now and tender your plane ticket and your hotel reservations, for most people, the commercial bank is going to give you is $200 US. And I would like to suggest that Trinidad and Tobago cannot continue in the way it's going, both in terms of depleting the foreign exchange reserves, the foreign reserves, and in terms of the worsening restrictions on access to foreign exchange, whether through a credit card or through your own account at commercial banks, or in any other way. It's an intolerable situation in my view.
Well, Anthony, as always, sincere thanks. All the best to you and the team, and I look forward, God spare, for another Business Guardian breakdown next week, Thursday. All the best, Anthony.
Thank you very much, Jason.
That's right. From one colleague to another, Jamak Rampasad joins me as we get the weather update. Again, he mentioned last evening there might be some conditions at play today. The full scoop when we come back with Jamak Rampasad, our meteorologist.
Built to Last has a massive sale on roofing materials, including standing seam. Invest in durable roofing sheets at unbeatable prices. Choose our supply and installation package and enjoy huge savings on your roof. Quality materials, quality prices, quality workmanship. Our name says it all. Built to Last, for roofing that is built to last. We will not be beaten on price. Enjoy free delivery and free roll forming on standing seam and guttering on site. Call us now, 355-7703.
Food basket, nation's #1 supermarket, bakery, restaurant, meat market, fresh producers, everything fantastic for everyday low price. Things real nice. Come in once, but to come back twice. Wholesale retail, everything for you. A remush, a water shop, where go view. Food basket, the nation's #1 supermarket, bakery, restaurant, meat market, fresh producers, everything fantastic. Food basket, marketplace, go view, where shopping is a pleasure and the price is right.
We are your one-stop, most convenient, most helpful, most caring community pharmacy. Our pharmaceutical services include dispensing medicines, repeat dispensing, clinical governance. But we also have a fully stocked convenience store featuring our refreshment aisle, grocery lane, personal care products, toys, pet supplies. We are most conveniently located out of the traffic, just 2 minutes off the highway in Heartland Plaza in Devashagonas. Contact us on 220-8705 or 470-5938 and visit us.
Welcome back. Let's touch base with our meteorologist and weather anchor, Jamak Rampasad. Now, last evening, Jamak, let me, of course, firstly say good morning to you. Thank you so much, as always, for putting aside some time for us early morning. Not your hours, but we give thanks that you're here with us. I'm watching last night, and, you know, you're making mention that Sunday might be the only beach day because Sunday, based on your model, had a nice, big, bright sun. Right? Sunshine, hot sun for Sunday, but it seems like from now till Saturday and even into next week, we have to brace ourselves for some rain. What's the latest, Jamak? Great to see you as always.
Yes, thanks for having me on the show again, Jason. That's correct. The outlook for the foreseeable future for the rest of the month is that we're expecting these light winds to continue. So the trend will be generally these hot and sunny mornings followed by thunderstorms developing around midday, then into the afternoon. Now today is a bit different. We have already had some showers for the morning, so the thunderstorms may not be as explosive today, but they're still expected during the afternoon and again to favor the western areas of Trinidad. But generally in September, that's what we can expect with these lighter winds and with the ITCZ and tropical waves generally at our latitude or maybe just a bit further north for the month of September. We can expect this type of weather to continue in terms of the thunderstorms and the street and flash flooding.
Interesting you said explosive because what we saw yesterday I mean, I wasn't here. I was making my way back home. But based on even the front page of The Guardian, looking at South Key, looking at parts of Independence Square, Jamak, I mean, how long did the rain last for that kind of water to develop in the city?
So in northwestern Trinidad yesterday, the heavier showers developed around midday, and then there was a short break, and then around 3 o'clock it came down torrentially at an extreme rate for about an hour. And that bout of showers, those heavy showers between 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon, was because of the street and flash flooding in Port of Spain and the surrounding areas in Maraval and Woodbrook as well. And well, I mean, we are accustomed, I shouldn't say accustomed, but it's a usual case in South Key and Independence Square and even along the southern fringe of Woodbrook along Ryson Road. But it's becoming a problem in new areas in Maraval. I mean, further up Maraval, we've seen it before, but in terms of Bossier Village near LZ Plaza, that does not usually flood unless it's something very severe. So, you know, we have to maybe look at other factors in play, whether it's, you know, drainage systems needing to be maintained or improved, or looking at the land use on the hills as well, you know, squatting or cutting of the hills for roads and housing as well.
Yeah, so Bossier RC saw it on the news last evening, I mean, under extreme pressure. And apparently, they're saying it's not something recent. It's been going on for years. So my question, today you said we had some early morning showers. We might get something again later. Based on the map, because even last evening I'm looking at the map there, and there is this colorful kind of cloud, this big system. Yeah, you see it? Look, that big system, and it's moving in our direction. So I guess with that, there's going to be lots of rain going into the weekend.
Yes, so for those who tuned in last night, I also showed a map in terms of the moisture. So the bulk of that moisture is expected to pass north of us. However, just south of it, there's still a lot of moisture, so we can expect the showers and isolated thunderstorms to continue for today and tomorrow as well. Now, luckily, that cluster of thunderstorms will not directly affect us. Otherwise, you know, we may see even more severe flooding than what we had over the past week. Generally, with these lighter winds, the trend of the hot and sunny mornings, especially from tomorrow onwards, we can see the heavier showers develop by midday and into the afternoon for Trinidad. Tobago seems to be lucky this morning. They are getting in on the action, some showers over them as well.
Any precautions for those making their way to the city and other parts, and even our fisher folk? So let's deal with the precautions first, and then we touch on our fisher folk.
So generally, people who work in Port of Spain and environs should be very aware of the weather developments, stay up to date with the weather forecast daily. If you see, you know, the heavier showers developing, kind of keep an eye on it, determine how long it's falling, how heavy it's falling. You know, some people park on the side of the road and their cars would be damaged from the sheer volume of water flowing through the drains in Port of Spain. So just have a plan in place in case you work in one of those flood zones. I know specific areas of Port of Spain, especially the southern areas like Edward Street, Independence Square, South Key, are the areas that are prone to flooding. So just have a plan in place to get out of the city if this happens, if and when this happens again.
What about our fisher folk? Any concerns for those looking to head out in the sea or probably head on the islands this weekend?
So generally, as we expect in these lighter winds, sea conditions are generally good. However, when these thunderstorms develop, we get some gusts associated with them, especially when they're raining out. And that can create choppy conditions in the seas. And we're usually seeing these thunderstorms occurring along the western coastline of Trinidad, including the Gulf of Paria. So that would include down the islands as well. I know we have a lot of fishing activity in the Gulf of Paria as well. The north coast may be a bit easier, but the area to look out for would be the Gulf of Paria over the next month or so.
Well, Jean-Marc, as always, a sincere thanks. Keep us posted. I'll look out for the report tonight if there's any new developments. And yeah, it's always great to see you in the morning, man. All the best.
Thank you for having me again.
You're most welcome. My colleague there, Jean-Marc Rampasad from the Weather Desk. Up next, Police and You. Important conversation ahead as we touch base with Officer Russell. ASP Russell. We're treating with the back-to-school tips and the old scenario with school and police and what's happening current day. See you soon.
At Bagwansing's, Port of Spain and Chaguanas, we are committed to providing quality products for all major building projects. Let's build together with rebars and beams, BRC coils and mats, RHS and angles, roofing sheets and purlins, lumber, plywood and MDF. Bagwansing's, building homes, building communities, building TNT for over 60 years. Bagwansing's, Port of Spain and Chaguanas, building value every day.
Gaming Express Limited is a premium importer and retailer of the highest quality brand name electronics. We stock the widest range of PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Samsung and Apple devices and accessories. Visit us at Shop 52, Level 2, Gulf City Mall in San Fernando, or contact us by phone or WhatsApp message at 687-7480 or 301-9797 or 798-1280. Like our Facebook and Instagram pages for updates on products and services.
Millions of people are attacked by harmful mouth bacteria. The root cause of bad breath, gum problems, cavities, plaque, and tartar. That's why Colgate combined the best science and technology in Colgate Total. Unlike others, its superior formula fights bacteria and creates a powerful protective barrier for up to 24 hours to prevent them from coming back. Take control of your oral health with Colgate Total.
Science calls it AMPK, your body's built-in system for burning fat, balancing blood sugar, and fueling energy. Berberine Plus naturally supports AMPK, helping you feel better, live better, be better. Available at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide. Berberine Plus, powerful results naturally.
Filmmakers, producers, content creators, influencers, and recording artists. If you're looking to rent a versatile studio space with green screen, video wall, cyclorama, and more, look no further. GM Labs is here to make your dreams a reality. Located in the heart of Port of Spain on St. Vincent Street, GM Labs is your one-stop shop for all your creative needs with over 2,800 square feet to work with. Take your creative concept to the final product at GM Labs. Give us a call or WhatsApp or message us on our Instagram and Facebook pages at GM Labs TT.
Ask the Doctor's new season is here as Dr. Joel Tilak Singh covers a range of topics and, most importantly, answers all your medical questions.
Join us on Ask the Doctor live on CNC3 on Thursdays at a new time of 8:30 p.m. with a rerun on Fridays at 11 a.m.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
Make sure you have yourself a great investment week by viewing The Boss Report every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. during CNC3's The Morning Brew. You'll get sound financial advice, whether you're a new or experienced investor, when you view The Boss Report. CNC3, covering your work.
Welcome as we get into our police and news segment. Very important segment every single Thursday. Officer Russell, ASP Russell, back with me, Media Ambassador. Great to see you, Officer, as always. Welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here. You know how we usually start on behalf of the Commissioner and the Deputy Commissioners and all the members of the 1st and 2nd Division of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, Officer Russell, I must say, I'm trying to keep up with all the different moving parts. Deputy Commissioner Benjamin mentioned that officers will step into the schools with all the tools of engagement. We hear the ministry and ministers within the government suggesting, well, that might not necessarily be the case. I've been out at the country for a few, but I'm still looking at the developments. I know you also mentioned last week you don't see it as necessary, but indeed, if officers and when, based on what's happening, enter schools to supervise the daily happenings, what would be the justification? How could one explain that to those looking on here at home and abroad, that officers will need to go into some of these schools, quote-unquote, sensitive schools, with firearm in waist?
Well, you know, as we say, the only thing constant in life is change. You know, and it's about being dynamic. And as more information come to the forefront of things, you know, things would change, things would be adjusted or readjusted as the case may be. One thing I would have noticed, and we would have all heard, myself and the members of the public, that the police officers will be properly equipped. And we have loads of equipment. We have our batons, we have tasers, we have handcuffs, we have different apparatus that we use from time to time as our daily utility kits to get the job done. As it pertains to firearm, there may be instances where a person may be armed, there may not be instances where persons may be armed. It all would depend on the situation or what is afforded to them at the point in time. I know there's a lot going about in the public with respect to it, and it is new. It's new, it's novel for us at this point in time. So as we continue to consult, there would be changes, there would be analysis and reanalysis of what is taking place and the operations of the TTPS as it pertains to the school environment. But what I want persons to understand is that the police is there in the first point mainly for presence. Our goal is to hope that our presence on these compounds of these schools would deter, desist, discourage students from engaging in all these fights and other illegal activities.
Yeah, but to me, which is a functional plan, I think, you know, something needed to be done. We've seen firsthand fighting in school is nothing new. It would have happened in your time, my time. It's been around since school is in existence. That's, you know, unfortunately, sometimes children, that's how they engage with a disagreement. But I'm looking at a development with a teacher. Obviously, we are from a time where that was unheard of. You would never hear of a student engaging a teacher in any kind of physical altercation. And I wonder if, you know, God forbid, someone was to lose their mind and try to engage an officer with any of the tools just mentioned, well, minus the gun, obviously, we're not even going down that road, but the taser, the handcuff, everything, the baton, these things you just mentioned. Well, I don't know what the training was. I know you said officers had training before going into the system. But what's the rules of engagement? Let's say, God forbid, a student was to really test the authority and presence of one of your colleagues.
Well, let me say something. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service is guided by the Use of Force Policy 92 of 2011. That's our departmental law that governs. So firstly, we would speak verbal commands. Stop, behave yourself, don't do that. Once that fails, then we would escalate a little more. We would try to restrain you. If there's an issue restraining, then we may have to go baton. If baton doesn't work, then we will have to go probably taser. However, we hope that we don't have to intervene at all. We hope by our mere presence that these things become something of the past with respect to these schools. No one wants to go in school to really have to engage. And I mean, I think that we as citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, and parents especially, should be dissatisfied with themselves to see we are at a point where police have to go into schools to ensure that children behave themselves. We didn't get here. We didn't get here just so. This wasn't overnight. So we, not just the police, not just the Ministry of National Security, the churches,
what you want to say
to parents,
and you're glad you mentioned parents. What you want to say to parents who sometimes take time out of the day to come into the school to challenge sometimes teachers, to challenge students who might have, as far as they're concerned, been harsh to their particular charge. You know, they bully my child, and I'm not taking that. I go sit down in a jail for my child. These are the words we hear from parents who feel outraged by the system and by the slow call to justice. What's your advice to parents who might think of engaging in that manner?
Well, what I would say to parents, if your child, if you have the pretend that your child was bullied in school and you go in school with that demeanor, that come to fight the teacher, or come to fight another student, one, are you as a parent being responsible? Are you as a parent exhibiting the morals, the principles, the standards that you want your child to follow? No, I understand. This is mommy, one son or one daughter, I understand that. However, in cases like that, there is a reporting process. You can go to the Ministry of Education, you can go to the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, and we will investigate it.
But sometimes you see the wheels turn so slow that parents take it upon themselves. Again, I'm not justifying what they're doing. I'm just speaking to the reality of the day, where we have seen firsthand parents waiting outside the school. I saw it at a fight in Tobago. It was distasteful. Parents on the ground. And what happened in that particular fight, unfortunately, the children, because they are...
Yeah, the parents lost.
Yeah, the father ended up on the back, and oh my goodness, that they soften up daddy?
Yeah, I am aware of that, and I mean, daddy should have been responsible and not put himself there in the first place. But we could understand the emotion and the passion when it's your child. But we want the parents to exercise the same emotion and passion when it comes to disciplining their children, when it comes to training their children in the way so that the child would not depart. The Bible says, train a child in the ways and the child shall not depart. We have to back up the parenting book. We have to put parenting first. We, as I said, at a different media location, you cannot feed them, clothe them, send them to school, and you're afraid to search their rooms. You paying the bills in that house. You have to be the parent. Search their room, have conversations with them, take charge of the children under your roof. And not just parent, but the guardian, the grandmothers, because we need all hands on deck, the grandmothers, the grandfathers, the uncles, the cousins. We need a collaborative effect. Once they end up in the hands of the police, plenty of the time, they would have already done something wrong.
What's been the general feedback with the presence at school? Because I recognize primary schools on the list and secondary schools deemed schools of concern, and they want to have that presence, as you mentioned, to, I guess, keep certain activities at bay. What's been the general feedback, talking to colleagues within the service, and just as a citizen moving around, Officer Russell, you know, hearing conversations, being on the ground? I know you're a man on the ground. What's been the general consensus so far?
Well, everybody will have their different opinions. Some persons agree with it. Some persons find, yes, I have no problem with it, but the officer shouldn't be armed. Everybody will have their own views. And I want to say it is just the fourth day of school, so it's still new. You know, we haven't really gotten through the first week to really see exactly how the feedback is. What I recognize, though, and I appreciate, I was listening to the news last night, and I heard that the schools in Tobago were to have further consultation, and they, as a body, were to decide which schools that they think that the deployment of the police officers would be needed, and I want to commend them for that.
Yeah, understood. Getting reports of a father, unconfirmed reports of a father slapping a child yesterday. So again, we're going back to that conversation of over-exuberant parents, overzealous parents. Yes, I know it will be very frustrating seeing your child go through pain and agony by the hands of another student or a teacher. But I think we have to curb our enthusiasm in that regard.
And that is it. And what we have to do is also discourage bullying. Because bullying is a serious problem in schools. We need to really speak and do more ads, more sensitization as it comes to bullying, because nobody wants their children to be bullied, whether it's cyberbullying, whether physical, whether it's quote-unquote taxing a student or taking their lunches or taking their phones, because these things do happen in school. And we really need to sensitize persons to discourage that kind of behavior, show them the repercussions of their action, because there are consequences to every action.
Well, ESP Russell, I want to thank you again for this frank and I would say, yeah, I'll climb through there, bye. Good to go. This frank and very relevant conversation. Any new developments? any new developments, keep us posted, and God spare we touch base again next week. I've got to run to a commercial then.
All right, thank you very much. Have a good day and a wonderful weekend, Trinidad and Tobago.
ESP, Russell touching base, police and you. We get ready for the 7 a.m. news update. I'll catch you after 7.
Suffer from pain in your back, knees, or joints and need effective pain relief? Get your life back with Omega XL, a natural, safe, anti-inflammatory supplement. This small soft gel has up to 22 times more omega-3 free fatty acids than fish oil and is backed by 30 years of clinical research.
I can just tell you from my experiences, there's nothing like this Omega XL.
Live the life you deserve and get the relief you need. Get Omega XL now at your local pharmacy.
You don't default to watch Corn. The biggest comedy of 2025 now comes to Cipriani College for 2 nights only on Saturday the 13th of September at 8:30 p.m. and Sunday the 14th at 6:30 p.m.
This is the best play ever. I couldn't stop laughing.
Tickets available at usual outlets and at Cipriani College 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily.
This show nearly made me pee myself. It was fantastic.
The best show you will see this year.
You don't default to watch Corn.
Welcome to Holiday Inn Express and Suites.
Do enjoy, Stacey. You want some coffee?
Can I have a
Perfect then.
That's exactly what we need.
Hi, the pool is this way.
Whatever you're here for, we're here for you. Stay smart at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites.
My own personal motto is to show citizens of this country that our stories can be told in a professional and international standard. I want to show them that the journalism they consume on cable TV can also exist here. Each day, that's my focus, that's my drive, to show the stories of our communities, of our people, matter just as much as anywhere else in the world. That's why we are where you are.
Good morning and welcome. I'm Jesse Ramde with headline news here on CNC3 and the TBC Radio Network. Rural Development and Local Government Minister Khadija Amin has confirmed that a hefty number of unemployment relief program workers from its 12 regional offices were terminated on Wednesday. Guardian Media understands the affected workers received their letters of termination yesterday morning. Speaking with Guardian Media, Amin said the move was part of an effort to restructure URP and halt corrupt practices, which she said the incoming government unearthed. Defending the government's move, Amin said, quote, normally after an election, you would have people being terminated immediately, like a couple of days after or the week after. We did not do that. As the Prime Minister indicated, we are considering restructuring these programs, end quote. Amin said this puts an end to the practice of political parties replacing URP workers with its supporters on assuming office. She says the UNC government still held strain and continued their employment for some months. In other news, torrential downpours flooded several areas in northwestern Trinidad. Areas including Woodbrook, Maraval and downtown Port-of-Spain experienced flash flooding with several roadways impassable. The showers began just after midday yesterday, but by 3 p.m. an intense thunderstorm developed with rainfall lasting into peak traffic hours. Roads within Port-of-Spain were gridlocked as well as the major arteries leading into and out of the capital. The Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government urged citizens to avoid driving through flooded areas. In other news, head of the Prison Officers Association, Gerard Gordon, says he agrees with the decision by Prime Minister Kamla Pissar-Bissessar to deport 200 Venezuelan nationals who have been imprisoned locally. Gordon tells CNC3 News that repatriating individuals who were involved in crimes in foreign countries was not an unusual practice and felt that it would ease the strain on prison facilities and infrastructure.
It is something that we try our best to manage, and certainly will continue to attempt to manage that in collaboration with the other arms of law enforcement in Trinidad and Tobago, because crime is crime no matter who does it.
And internationally, conservative activist Charlie Kirk has been shot and killed while addressing students at an event at Utah Valley University in an attack caught on camera. Kirk, a fervent supporter of President Donald Trump, was the founder of Turning Point USA, a group that seeks to spread conservative ideas to students on U.S. campuses. Officials say he had just begun speaking when a single gunshot rang out. Videos verified by BBC show him jolting backwards in his chair as students scatter in panic. Well, those were 7 a.m. news headlines. We'll have another news update at 8 a.m. on the TBC Radio Network.
3 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Thursday morning, let's get some information as we check in with our daily health tip. Enjoy.
The Daily Health Tip, brought to you by Omega XL, where health is wealth. Chronic inflammation doesn't just strike at random. It's also a central factor in arthritis, specifically rheumatoid arthritis. This autoimmune disorder turns the body's defenses against itself, attacking the joints and causing persistent inflammation. This leads to swollen, painful joints and can significantly impair daily activities. The inflammation associated with rheumatoid arthritis doesn't only damage joints, but can also affect other organs and lead to widespread symptoms. Over time, the chronic inflammation can cause the cartilage in the joints to degrade, resulting in loss of mobility and chronic pain. Combating this type of inflammation involves several proactive steps. Medications can reduce inflammation and slow disease progression. Physical therapy also plays a key role in maintaining joint function and reducing pain. Moreover, lifestyle changes, such as adopting an anti-inflammatory diet rich in antioxidants and omega-3 fatty acids, can help manage symptoms. Regular exercise tailored to personal capacity helps maintain joint flexibility and strength, while also fighting off inflammation. Additionally, reducing stress through mindfulness, meditation, or gentle yoga can also decrease the body's inflammatory responses. By understanding how chronic inflammation contributes to arthritis and actively managing these symptoms, individuals can preserve their joint health and improve their quality of life. With the right strategies, living with arthritis can be more manageable. This health tip was brought to you by Omega XL. Live long, stay strong. The Daily Health Tip, brought to you by Omega XL, where health is wealth.
Sincere thanks as always. 5 minutes after 7, let's take the pause and we come back with our mental health matters. Johansi joins me for another impactful talking point.
What should your parents use to fight inflammation?
Omega XL.
What do you think I should take, babe?
My mommy and daddy should use Omega XL to fight inflammation.
Welcome to ABC Doors and Windows, TNT's #1 destination for the best quality and widest variety of doors and windows. Enhance your space with our premium wooden, steel panels, fiberglass, and steel security doors, complemented by our aluminum, UPVC, and steel windows. Shop for the best quality and service at ABC Doors and Windows. Visit our impressive showroom at 1 Chancatrace, El Socorro South, or call 638-7184 to get started. Trust ABC for a better choice.
You can tell from the crowd who's up next. It's Trinray's star player, whose world-class stats put him in a league of his own. Trinray's risen to become a true force to be reckoned with. With an unbeaten Carry A rating, they boast a strong solvency and A-class service. Ladies and gentlemen, you're witnessing Trinray's financial and technical strength at its best.
Trinray, premier insurance coverage for less.
So let's start by explaining insurance concepts.
Insurance is one of the most misunderstood financial instruments.
If you don't have it and something happens, well, you're kind of out of pocket.
Insurance is a financial tool to mitigate against the risk that we face.
So what happens to somebody that if they lose their job in the middle of their policy?
If the pool of money dries up, the money has to come from somewhere.
Right.
Tune in on CNC3 this Friday at 8 p.m.
Behavioral change consultant Johanse Audike joins me this morning. As always, once he's not here on set, he will pull aside. Rest assured, yes, he's safe, aside, safe, and we're going to get into our discussion as always. Johanse, great to see you, man.
Good morning, Jason, and good morning to everybody viewing.
Today's talking point, Johanse, you're suggesting here, more haste, less speed. It's a phrase we have heard. What's your interpretation?
Well, usually when I heard it growing up, it was more speed, less haste. And I understood the concept behind it, but grammatically it didn't make sense to me. So speed is the measurement by which we do something. How fast, even you can say how slow you do something, the measurement is speed. And then if another meaning for speed is to move quickly. But haste means excessive speed, and the concept behind the term is the more excessive speed you have, the more you rush. You actually sometimes will decrease your speed. You decrease the timing because it's possible you may make mistakes. It's possible you may do something excessive that may actually cause you to not accomplish a task as quickly as you may want to.
What about those who they love that particular momentum, you know, they live in that space. They love the last minute. They become alive when they wait till the very last to get things done. And 9 out of 10 times they get over the line, you want to say. Some, no. Not all. Some, not all.
Some, not all. And you see, again, haste means excessive speed. People who what you describe, let's say last minute people, quote unquote. Sometimes last minute is a formula, you know. Last minute is something they're accustomed to. So they actually have a method in which they do things last minute. So sometimes it doesn't actually be excessive, because I know I like to leave home 5 minutes before. I know I like to study 2 weeks before school. There's sometimes a method to it. But haste, and when not only doing something, but you know, when you call somebody hasty, it means that you're moving from, let's say, 0 to 100, even mentally and emotionally, real quick. It's not something that you thought through, and there's no method to it.
So how do we manage the haste? Because again, you know, we're saying more haste, less speed. So clearly, when you function in that particular space, chances are you probably will not accomplish much or get things done, because you, as they say, you're hasty. I've never heard the word haste and there's been a positive connotation next to haste. Haste seems, you're hasty, it seems like, you know, you're quick to anger, you're as we say in layman's term, the ignorant, not the hasty. Even though we know ignorance means lack of knowledge, but you know, we put it. So I've never really heard haste or associated haste with something that's pleasurable.
Well, let's start with completing a task, right? Most times when we in haste, it's a psychological thing versus an actual reality thing. Because let's just say you're late and you're rushing. When you're taking a shower, the shower might feel like it's taking longer than usual. So then you're driving, it feels like the way or the road, the trip is longer than usual. If by chance you're in traffic, or even if it have a small amount of cars on the road, because it's a psychological thing, everything seems more and it seems like it's over-inflated. Now, I'm using psychological because I'll give you an example. I remember this is a long time ago, there's a one time the speed limit was 80, right? When they were testing things and it was 80. And in my mind, I was thinking, but 80 is so slow. You know, I would reach places late, it would take me longer, but that was a psychological thing. But empirically, when I compared driving 80 to driving 100 under the same conditions, the difference was about 2 to 4 minutes, which wasn't that much. So when we rushing, many times we overinflate things in our mind. But if you face the reality, so let me give you an example quick. If you're taking a shower, your shower is usually take a certain amount of time. Everything takes a certain amount of time. So if you're aware of how much time something takes, that's a real, psychologically, you could be in less of a hurry if you understand the timing.
Is haste or being hasty a personal experience, or could you be a victim to a society or a community or a culture that is hasty? Because I'm using the example of Trinidad and Tobago. Especially on the road, it's changed. The culture out there on the black carpet, I mean, don't get me wrong, people have always been irate and will whine on glass and stuff. But within recent time, the kind of driving we're seeing, the kind of, the rush, the chances some people are taking, you know, I wonder if the younger drivers coming into this space, if naturally you will fall into that, because everything is seeing about, everything around you, people breaking rules and just doing what they want. So I wonder if sometimes the environment of haste shapes the person, or if it's an individual and personal experience.
Culture and environment has a lot to play, but it's also psychological. And let me explain. Some years ago, because it was a pet peeve of mine when seeing people drive in the fast lane slow, I started investigating and asking people, well, why would you do that? Even in the car, it happened, these drivers doing the same thing. And what most of them said was, because they're in the fast lane, psychologically, they thought they were moving fast, right? And that was curious to me, because they would look in the left lane or the middle lane and see people moving faster than them, but psychologically, they thought they were moving fast. Now, I'm highlighting that because when somebody using speed and using it on the road, right, is not only what other people doing, is what you consider the situation is. Someone also told me once they see a certain amount of cars, they think that they're going to be stuck in traffic, so they start to feel a certain way, start to feel like if those cars blocking their path to reach where they want to go. Yeah. And in reality, how much the speed they're driving, they'll still reach early, you know, but as soon as they see 2 or 3 cars in front, they start feeling a certain way.
Yeah, it's true, because, you know, as we look to wrap things up, I look at the environment, I guess us being a more fast-paced island compared to, let's say, a Nevis or Anguilla, one of these places where the haste is not as severe. Everybody moving on their own beat, cool, calm, collective. You know, I guess the environment really shapes so much of how we go about things. Let me get you to bring in the final say as we wrap things up, Yohanse.
Nation, when you rush things, you tend to make mistakes, whether it is a wrong decision or a wrong method. Take your time and don't complicate life, because even though life is not easy, it's really not that hard. Thank you for listening.
More haste, less speed. Great conversation as always. Yohanse touching base with us as we come out of the mental health matters and get ready for the peace dialogue. It happens this weekend, Central Bank Auditorium. Some of the committee members, event committee members, will give us full details. Again, the peace dialogue as we embrace the International Day of Peace. And trust me, We need more of that here in Sweet TNT and by extension, the world. Full details after the break.
This is a serious problem in Trinidad. What is diabetes?
There are two forms. Diabetes type 1, when your body stops producing insulin. Type 2 diabetes is a result of poor lifestyle. Type 2 diabetes is associated with being overweight, having high blood pressure, at higher risk for heart disease. It is a very serious problem.
Do not wait until it's too late. Let Omega XL be the first step in the right direction.
Get your Omega XL today. Live long, stay strong with Omega XL.
Millions of people are attacked by harmful mouth bacteria. The root cause of bad breath, gum problems, cavities, plaque, and tartar. That's why Colgate combined the best science and technology in Colgate Total. Unlike others, its superior formula fights bacteria and creates a powerful protective barrier for up to 24 hours to prevent them from coming back. Take control of your oral health with Colgate Total.
The detergent smells nice while washing, but when you use the new Downy Intense fabric softener, with its new multi-capsule fragrance, it releases an intense scent that lasts twice as long. With the new Downy Intense, you'll enjoy a rich and delightful fragrance that keeps you feeling fresh 24/7.
The fact that they ask the questions, those challenging questions that no other media house would ask. To, shed light on those things that are in the dark, those stories that no one else wants to cover.
I grew up reading The Guardian, actually. It's a household name. About The Guardian, one thing that I like, the human interest stories have increased.
See the investigative pieces on the human trafficking. I find that very interesting.
You go more in depth.
On sports, especially local sports, and that's one of my highlights for The Guardian.
Yeah, I've been in Ghana since The Guardian started coming out, started working. I was a newspaper man.
Could the stories that are being covered are well detailed and you get more facts.
Also, I think the editorials, I think they're doing a good job on this speaking in truths, and they're challenging the government to make things better. Me in particular, of recently, the last 2-3 months, I've been reading The Guardian. I'm seeing a lot of news about the neighborhoods and the communities, and I even saw my community featured, and I was proud.
Oh, The Guardian.
The Guardian?
Guardian.
Trinidad Guardian.
The Guardian.
The Guardian.
Trinidad Guardian. The Guardian is my first choice.
Filmmakers, producers, content creators, influencers, and reporting artists. If you're looking to rent a versatile studio space with green screen, video wall, cyclorama, and more, look no further. GM Labs is here to make your dreams a reality. Located in the heart of Port of Spain on St. Vincent Street, GM Labs is your one-stop shop for all your creative needs with over 2,800 square feet to work with. Take your creative concept to the final product at GM Labs. Give us a call or WhatsApp or message us on our Instagram and Facebook pages at GM Labs TT.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
When we consider that word peace, it's not one I take for granted at all. I think the natural human condition is one of peace and love. We find ourselves in a world, we look at the geopolitical developments, what's happening even far beyond the pond in the Middle East, Europe, here at home, and even within your own personal life. And I think peace starts right there in terms of that personal journey and experience. We consider and we appreciate what is happening on Sunday, the Brahma Kumaris International Day of Peace. Act now for a peaceful world. It's a peace dialogue with some leading personalities, folks within the realm of I'm seeing psychology, folks within the spiritual space. I mean, it's a full mixer. We're seeing, trauma consultant is there. It's so much that will be taking place. And to bring some details, we have the brothers here with me, the Kurbanali brothers. Yes, Aaron and Matthew. Guys, let me just firstly say, well done. Congrats in advance, yourselves and all on the back end, making this peace dialogue happen on Sunday. Great to have you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Before we get into the dialogue itself, I'll probably let Aaron give me some details regarding the Brahma Kumaris, for those hearing it for the first time, what is the Brahma Kumaris all about?
Yeah, so the Brahma Kumaris, our headquarters are in India, but we have centers all over the world, probably in every country there is. And the main focus that we are on is meditation. And just as you said just now, finding that inner peace within yourself.
Because you're correct. I think peace ultimately begins from within.
Yeah, definitely. And we teach that, you don't go looking for it outside. It is within you. It's just about cultivating that peace within you.
I guess the question is, how does one keep that peace relevant and alive when you are sometimes in a society or environment of struggle and strife?
Yeah, and so, one of the main things we practice is, of course, meditation, and that's what we teach. Meditation, and being able to we practice open-eyed meditation as well, so that while you are outside there in the world and interacting in your work and school or wherever it is, you could still practice that meditation and have that peace, whatever is happening around you. And so, for myself personally, I've been practicing it since we were young, like 5-6 years old. So it takes practice, of course, to do it, but new or old, practicing it, you do get that type of peace coming within you. And so, the Brahma Kumaris, we have United Nations, we're part of them in terms of we have consultative status. And so every year we celebrate the International Day of Peace, which is actually on the 21st of September. But of course, we're having this program on the 14th to commemorate that day. We are planning to have this program. And so, we have, as you said, all these different walks of life, people coming from all different walks of life.
Yeah, leading voices I'm seeing here in psychology, spirituality, leadership, resilience. Walk us through, Matthew, as to who are the speakers and what do you think will be the biggest takeaway for those in attendance on Sunday?
Yeah, so first we have Dr. Savita. Now, she is located at the headquarters of the Brahma Kumaris. She's actually the coordinator for the women's wing. Now, along with doing that, she travels the world and actually uplifts women and empowers them through the same spiritual practices that we teach at the Brahma Kumaris.
So she'll be here live, or she's doing online?
Well, actually, she's arriving today in Trinidad.
Fantastic. So it's a live engagement.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes. So she is bringing a lot of spiritual power, if you want to call it, into this conversation. But we also have Father Hudling, right? Who, as you can see, is a psychoanalytic psychotherapist. Now, I was reading up a bit on him. Now, we know Father Hudling personally also, just recently, and he's been doing work with the Brahma Kumaris. He's also bringing that side of spirituality, but along with that, the sort of science he's bringing now with in terms of dealing with trauma and stress as it relates to the brain. And then we have a clinical psychologist who is Dr. Nidhi Kirpalani. She actually brings to the table something called Santre therapy, which is a non-verbal way of communicating with people to actually address the traumas that they face. And she actually teaches therapists in Trinidad this method. And of course, we all know Mr. Wendell Motley, Olympian and former Minister of Finance for Trinidad.
Yeah, a man who has served the country with distinction.
Correct. And you have this group of people, and what I'm seeing here is sort of a science, spirituality, and they come in together to speak about peace, which is something I think we all need, and this is what we are discussing, is that peace, and I think what the Brahma Kumari is at the core of it, we want people to realize that inside of them is peace, and we are trying to bring that out because it first starts with the realization of I'm a soul. I'm not this body, so I'm not choosing race, I'm not choosing religion, which causes the division in the first place in what we see around the world. I'm recognizing, well, I'm a soul, and my connection with the Supreme, who's also a soul. Now that separates all division, and we come into a place now where I could look at you, I'm recognizing, well, you're not this body, you're a soul, and I acknowledge that. And so that brings a level of peace. And this program, even though we have this dialogue, we truly want people to experience peace from within.
What a timely discussion, because I see lots of frustration. You know, every day, I guess we live here, so we see and observe, and I know sometimes financial constraints cause people to go into a place of sometimes venom and despair, and that could translate into actions that are contrary to peace.
Yeah.
I wonder, how does one maintain that balance, even going through that kind of emotional, financial, even a relationship breakdown? Because we have seen where people, again, they jump out themselves, for want of a better word, when those areas, there are challenges in those areas.
Yeah, and I think that's important. I think this dialogue is important too, so that, I mean, it's open to everybody. It's free of charge as well. So any walks of life could come in. But I think what everybody could see is that we all come from different backgrounds. We have, as you said, different financial constraints. People have problems in their relationships. I mean, it's just outside any world. It's fearful. People are very fearful of what's taking place. So it's to come and hear what are the methods that you could use to get that peace and to stay stable in a very turbulent world.
It's such a timely discussion, and again, it's the peace dialogue. I know, obviously, it's a real service on giving back to the community, hence the reason it's free of charge, but I know there is a capacity there at the central bank. So how does one book their spot, book their seat early so they can be there to embrace the conversation?
So, I mean, we have the QR code here on the flyer. That's one way to register. But if you access any of our social media channels, so this could be Brahma Kumari's Trinidad, Brahma Kumari's Port of Spain, Brahma Kumari's St. Augustine, Chaguanas, we have the flyer and also the link for the form to fill out so that you could RSVP.
It's an early engagement, huh? Seated, you need to be seated by 4:45, start time promptly at 5.
Yes. And those are the regulations by the Central Bank Auditorium.
Yeah.
So when we mean 5 o'clock we start, and we are going to start at 5, not Trinidad 5.
Yeah, the Highland time 5 o'clock, right? Yes.
But we are allowing walk-ins as well, right, Matthew?
Yes.
Once we're not, of course, to capacity.
To capacity,
well, again, the Kubanali brothers touching base, and, you know, I could feel the peace from the brothers. I mean, it's usually a peaceful studio, and I'm a peaceful person, and it's a safe space, but these fellas here, you feel the presence, and I just want to say congrats. Thanks for bringing this information to us, and I hope for those looking on, you really take the opportunity to embrace peace, to listen to the conversations, leaders in their particular field coming to share with us on Sunday. Gentlemen, have a great one.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thanks for having us.
Of course, man, you're most welcome. I'm going to make my exit, make some room here for Ian Wilson, who steps in for the morning shot, that in-depth look at sport, and he's dealing with some football this morning. Ian Wilson in the building. See you tomorrow.
Okay, I see you. Okay, let me see you, Cherry Hill.